Yes. So the idea is that people who usually they make these detection methods and then they measure them in a beaker, right? And then they stop. But that's not what we want. We want them to give their own vision the chance to become a reality. So they think, okay, I'm a chemist, I'm a biologist, I don't know how to do hardware. So we have a ready solution. We have a potentiostat that can do the same things that their big research devices can do, but now on people's bodies. And this would be then the first step to take their detection method and turn this into a reality.
Hi, welcome to MEDICA trade show in Düsseldorf. We are at Startup Arena with a lot of new interesting ideas for products, medical device products. We'll talk to some startups and ask about their IoT monetization model. Hi, welcome. Welcome to MEDICA Düsseldorf. Today we're talking with PalmSens and Lutz, and we'll talk about how they revolutionized the IoT products. So Lutz, tell us more about your products and your platform.
Yes, so PalmSens is already an established provider of research potentiostats, so for electrochemical measurement instruments, mostly for researchers. But we also provide them OEM, meaning people who have developed an electrochemical detection method, for example. We provide them with the tools to turn this into a product, or at least go to a prototype stage, get clinical studies, so to first investors, like these kind of things. And since we always have focused on portable electrochemistry and, well, the OEM and the research, we have now made a potentiostat for wearable applications.
Wearables. Okay.
Yes. So the idea is that people who usually they make these detection methods and then they measure them in a beaker, right? And then they stop. But that's not what we want. We want them to give their own vision the chance to become a reality. So they think, okay, I'm a chemist, I'm a biologist, I don't know how to do hardware. So we have a ready solution. We have a potentiostat that can do the same things that their big research devices can do, but now on people's bodies. And this would be then the first step to take their detection method and turn this into a reality.
I like the click.
Yes, so it's this click system, and the idea is you would buy a full development kit, and you would start in different ways. Maybe first you make a lab measurement, just like you're used to from like how you do your regular setup with the glass cell and electrodes, and prove that it works exactly as the big ones before you then start to specialize making it for the body. So you can step by step overcome all these problems, right?
Oh, so you help also in R&D process, yeah?
So we don't do contract research. What we help with is the electronics and the devices. So that means we have designed them in a way that we think we basically boost people through the translation level. So from proof of principle up to a commercial product if they want to move the whole way.
Oh, really? Okay.
And we have also similar products, not only for wearables, but also for like in vitro measurements, you know, like the blood glucose test, and you would just insert your stripe, you would maybe put like blood in there, and you can program these buttons with your own scripts. I mean, it can be something simple, just like, let's say, icons running through, or you can have combined measurements in there. Now, they make no sense because I have nothing on the electrode. But the cool thing about this is we give customers the full control what's behind the buttons. So if you have developed an electrochemical measurement technique, or let's say you want to measure tuberculosis in saliva, you could take your measurement, turn this device within like half an hour into something that looks like a prototype for your new diagnostic startup, and give it to some nurses with instructions and tell them, hey, when you do the tuberculosis test, can you do this in parallel, right? Like very quickly, again, moving people from the lab to the place where their research actually matters.
Oh, really? Okay.
So this is our idea. Plus, because we are for years a supplier of OEM electrochemistry, we have all the software development platforms for people to easily go from their own methods that they have developed to scripts that work for our instruments and embed that in their own software platforms.
Oh, so you provide software, hardware, and the consumables, yeah?
Yeah, well, the consumables we only deliver through third parties.
Oh, third parties.
So this is, for example, from the company LinkSense in France, who you can also find in the Wearable Technologies Pavilion.
Okay.
But this would be like just a gold surface, and it would be our customers, so the researchers who we try to enable, that would make these surfaces then sensitive. They modify them with antibodies, antigens, with DNA, whatever they need to get their detection working.
Okay.
And we then help them that they don't have to ask us all their time when they develop their own software. They just need the basic rules, how a programming language works, and then they can make everything themselves.
So since we provide a quite complex software and also some hardware, what are your typical business models around that? Yes, you mainly license it, you sell hardware, or you aggregate data. How you guys?
So usually our main business model is the hardware, so the instruments. So I would say the typical way of a customer is they start research, they buy our research instruments that you can use out of the box. You open the box, you plug them in, and you do your measurements with our Windows software, with our Android app, and you can get your measurement running. Then when you figure out everything works as you want it to, you can also make it very easy. Our software can make the script for you according to the protocol that you've made before. You give that to your programmer and say, hey, this we need to embed into the software environment we're doing. At the same time, the hardware developer can say, oh, you use this potentiostat, I will buy the same thing as the OEM version. So I can build my own hardware around it. So this way we can accompany people throughout the whole journey. But also, many startups nowadays, they're very homogeneous. They're just bioelectrochemists or biochemists. They're not diverse in their skills. But we can help with that a bit as well, because they can get market-ready solutions from us. These are basically our potentiostats with your logo as a sticker on it. But we can also modify like smaller aspects about it to make it really your device. So let's say within 3 months you can have a prototype for whatever instrument you want to have for your electrochemical application.
So as you are on the startups of your clients, can you comment about some interesting business models, how they actually, the clients make a use of it? So is it typically like consumables, or do they have like a hardware as a platform or a subscription? Perhaps you can refer to that.
So usually they buy our hardware, and we don't give them a subscription. They're like, I want to say there are no ongoing costs, except when they buy the new PCB. So they really pay for the hardware. Usually our hardware includes a bit of support, of course, for the development.
Okay.
So if there are people now in front of the screen and think like, I have PalmSens and I have all these software possibilities, can I have a look at that? Yes, it's all for free to download on our website. You can see our coding examples. You can see our method script examples.
A lot of software is for free, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, if you buy our hardware and you want to use our Windows software, etc., you can install it as often as you like. That's not where we make the money. It's really in the hardware.
In the hardware.
Yes.
Okay. That's interesting. And your clients, how do they make money on themselves? Can you comment about few examples?
So at the moment, the customers that we have that are successful,
about their business model.
Yes. So we have multiple in vitro measurement companies who are successful. We have one customer here at the MEDICA as well. They're called Cepot. They measure paracetamol in blood.
Okay.
And they basically make the money by selling the strips for the measurements and selling the instruments. I have to say, I don't know exactly the price structure, if they have the very classical razor and razor blade model where the machine is rather low cost, and then the stripes, because you need to buy them continuously as consumables. If they're more expensive, I'm not 100% sure. But I know that, for example, Cepot also sells their software knowledge to people who really don't want to do any programming. They can like get with them in contact to get software also for our hardware. So they work like on 2 different tracks.
Oh wow! So this is really why we had this interview, because you have quite a variety of business models and applications. We'll probably talk with some of those startups you mentioned. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But going forward, I mean, will you always be giving away your software for free, or is going to be some super premium version with some perhaps AI and backend that you will have a subscription?
So if we make custom software for you, then you have to pay us the development time.
Oh, just
But of course, the software that we make is yours.
Okay.
However, we will not sign an agreement that you say we cannot use any of the knowledge that we have acquired, because we can't just give a lobotomy to our software engineers. So what we learned, we will use.
Okay.
But there is no, so usually we don't like license the software in that sense out there.
All right.
And also our generic research software that we have, we expect customers not to use that. They usually want a dedicated software for their application. Because also, you want a start button, you want a result then at the screen, you don't want anything complicated, because everybody should be able to use it in the end.
Oh, this is very wonderful. Yeah. So how do you find MEDICA so far, the event? And
so this is our third year at MEDICA as an exhibitor. It's very interesting for us because there's a large number of people who are not our customers, and there's a large number of people who are potential customers. They're very different. Usually we're at academic conferences. So it's very interesting. We get approached by people who look for business contacts. We get approached for people who look for solutions. So that's a very different feeling for us. This year has, so yesterday was a bit calmer, but today is very busy.
It is very busy.
So it's very nice. So usually we have like a good feeling here because it's just very different from where we usually go. And we try to, with our wearable solution, we think it's important to try to approach different audiences than just the researchers.
All right. Thanks, Lutz. Yeah, great interview. Thanks for this.
Thanks, Lucas, for your time. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.